Let us discuss some more questions on D and F block elements, which is there in your textbook. Before we go to the next chapter, in many books and notes, you will find that this D and F is written as capital D and capital F. So do not write like that. It has to be small d and small f. So we'll pick up the question from NCERT book. This is question number 8.10 from your in-text. I will copy the question here. Okay. The question is, name a member of lanthanide series which is known for exhibiting +4 oxidation state. So it is cerium. Okay, this is a knowledge-based question. It is a 1 mark. Knowledge-based question, which you have to keep in mind. For this, you will get 1 mark. This is completely 1 marker question. Next, we will take another question. We will take the question is why lanthanoid contraction is greater from element to element than why actinoid contraction is greater than element to element than the lanthanide contraction. Okay, so in actinoids, let us write the answer in points. In actinoids, the valence electrons enter into (5f) orbital. Second, in actinoids or lanthanoids, in lanthanoids, the valence electrons enter into 4f orbital. So now we'll conclude. Fourth point, the screening effect of 5f is poorer than that of 4f orbital. Fourth, hence nuclear charge can pull in set of shells like 7s2 022 6D, 1 to 2, 0 also, 0 to 2, and 5F, 0 to 14, with more effect. This belongs to what? Actinides. Of actinides, with more effect than the set of shells 4F, 0 to 14, 5D, 0 to 1, and 6S2 of lanthanides. Now we can write a concluding statement. Therefore, actinoid contraction is greater from element to element than lanthanoid contraction. Now, this will be a 2 marks question, and there are 4 value points in this. So if an evaluator tries to give you marks, then he would give you marks like this. Half marks for this, half marks for this, half for this, and half for this. Up to this somebody has written, that means the person knows the answer. So it will be half plus half plus half plus half equal to 2 marks. This is how the marking is done. Let us see some more questions. In the previous day, we had picked up question from the first page towards the last. Today, we are going from the last to the first, so that all the questions are seen and done. Explain why Cu plus ion is not stable in aqueous solution. Okay. To find the answer, let us see the electronic configuration of Cu metal, Cu1 plus ion, and Cu2 plus ion. Whenever such reasoning based question will be there, the answer will lie in the electronic configuration only. The answer can be found out by comparing the electronic configuration. So copper has electronic configuration, number of atoms equal, electrons equal to 29. So valence electronic configuration will be 4s2. 3d9 it is supposed to be, but no, it does not take place like that. So what do we write? Instead, we write 3d10 4s1. Now, if you see Cu1 plus ion, then it has got 3D10 4s 0. Only one electron is left now. One electron is given out. Okay. So one electron is lost. In Cu2 plus ion, it forms 3D9. This is nothing but disproportionation. In which self-oxidation reduction reaction is taking place. Now, this is not possible if water is not given. This is only possible in presence of water. Why so? It is possible in presence of water only. This is because water provides hydration energy water provides hydration energy to compensate and contribute to ionization energy required for Cu plus ion to form Cu2 plus ion. So we can write in water Cu plus 1 gets energy in the form of hydration energy to lose one more electron to reduce one another Cu plus 1 to form stable Cu 0 element by self oxidation reduction reaction shown below. Hope now the answer is clear. Now let us go to the next question. What is meant by disproportionation reaction? Give an example. We had seen how manganate ion, potassium manganate, converted itself into potassium permanganate. So we can see the same reaction and we can practice. All right. What is meant by disproportionation of an oxidation state? Give an example. So we can give two examples for this, one which is given in your book and one which you have just used to describe the ionization of Cu1 plus ion. So we'll pick up the question from here. We'll give you two examples. You can take any one of them, whichever you feel is easier for you. First, disproportionation means self-oxidation and reduction reaction. Now, disproportionation of oxidation state is there. So second, we have to write when any ion at lower oxidation state gains energy to compensate for or energy to contribute to ionization energy, then 1 mole or one part undergoes oxidation to higher state and the other part goes to the reduced state by gaining the ionized electron. Example A, 2Cu2 plus ion, C2Cu1 plus ion. If you give water, it will take hydration energy and one of it will lose electron one of it will lose electron and the other one will gain its electron. So it will lose electron and this will gain electron. As a result, this will form Cu plus plus and this will form Cu0. So it is a higher oxidation state and this is reduced state. So one molecule is undergoing oxidation and the other is undergoing reduction. Okay. So this is called as disproportionation reaction. So see, this is undergoing oxidation and this is undergoing reduction. So this process is called as disproportionation. Let us take one more example. This example will also help you to remember the preparation of KMnO4. You might be remembering that we had taken pyrolusite ore, MnO2, and we had fused it with KOH to form Km K2MnO4. And in presence of acid, it was forming KMnO4 plus MnO2. Its ionic equation was like this: MnO4 2 minus was forming MnO4 1 minus plus MnO2 neutral. Oxidation state of this Mn was x minus 8 is equal to minus 2. So 8 x is equal to 8 minus 2 equal to plus 6. This was plus 6. This was plus 7. And this was 0. We can always balance the water molecule by giving H2O. So here there are 4 water molecules. There are 2 Mn, so we'll give 2 Mn. Now there are 8 water molecules here. There are 6 water molecules here. So we can give 2H2O. And this side acidic medium, so 2H plus. So here also you see that this is oxidation, whereas this is reduction, isn't it? So here also what is happening is oxidation and reduction reaction is taking place. This is oxidation and this is reduction. So here also self-oxidation, reduction reaction, which is also called as disproportionation, is happening. And it is happening for whom? It is happening for the oxidized state. You know, it is not taking place for the reduced state. It will only take place for the oxidized state if it has a provision to become a more highly oxidized ion. If it has the provision to form even more highly oxidized ion, even more highly oxidized ion, and a reduced species, and a reduced species. So this was the answer of this question. Let us see some more question now. Okay. How to calculate the magnetic moment in terms of Bohr magneton? Atomic number is given. So can we guess which element is this? Chromium is 24, manganese is 25. So actually they are talking about manganese. Its atomic number is 25. That means it is a D5 state. If it is D5, that means it has 5 unpaired electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Magnetic moment is a vector quantity, is found out by formula square root of n into n plus 2, where n is number of unpaired electron. So we'll put here the values 5 into 5 plus 2. So this will be 35. So 35 is not a perfect square, so we have to find out the square root of this. How do we find out the square root? Let us try to find out 35. We'll take these two pair. If I take 6 into 6, it will be 36. If I take 5 into 5, it will be 25. So it has to be somewhere in between 5 and 6. So where will it be? So 5, 5s are 25. This is 0. This is 1. This 5 we will add here. And we will take 1. This will become 10. Now I will put 1 point and it will become 0. Now I have to add 1 digit somewhere here, and the same has to be multiplied with the same to get this one. That is the way we find out the root. So 100 and come too much. So actually what happens is whenever we take any digit extra here, we take in pairs. So one more zero we have to take. And now we can do it. Right? So this answer will be, if by 9 if we do, so it will come out to be 981. This much should be enough for our answer. So we can write that the value will be 5.9. Even if you would have taken 6, our answer would have been approximately right. This is how, in what happens in higher class, we forget the rules which we use in our lower classes. So it is good to show the rough work once. Next is for the first transition metals, the reduction potential values are given. Explain the irregularities in the above values. Okay, let us copy this question. So we'll take the values in a respective manner because there is a displace. It has to be like this. Okay, now what is happening is the reduction potential is increasing from left to right. That means from left to right, the ability to get reduced is increasing. But see, again there is a decrease. It is not regular. If you compare this and this, if you compare the reduction potential of vanadium and manganese, it is same. So if it was reducing, it should have reduced. Now this irregularity is due to the irregularity in the arrangement of the unpaired electrons in the d orbital. All right, so we can explain for each of these. So let us take it point-wise point. Manganese has higher reduction potential than chromium. Now, if I say manganese, it will be wrong because they are giving this state. Manganese 2 plus has higher reduction potential than chromium 2 plus because manganese has a configuration of 3D 5 4s 0 belongs to Mn 2 plus, whereas chromium has 3D 4 4s2 0 for Cr2 plus. Now, which one will have a more tendency to gain electron? It will, chromium would prefer to it would prefer to lose electron and get oxidized to form Cr plus 3, so that it can have, or it has 3D3 equal to 3T2G3 symmetrical and stable configuration. Please recall that when these ions are formed, then in the presence of any anion, they split into two parts. This is dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square minus y square, and dz square. It splits into two parts. The upper set is called as Eg and the lower is called as T2G in tetrahedral molecules. It can reverse also in some cases. So if it has 3 electrons, it will be stable. So it will prefer to lose electron. But in case of Mn, D5 is quite stable. It is itself symmetrical. So would not prefer to lose electron. So this was the explanation of this irregularity. First irregularity is this one. Then again, reduction potential is increasing, 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 increasing and increasing. So now it is increasing only. So it is tending towards becoming positive, isn't it? So this was the irregularity between this and this, which has been explained here. Okay. Let me explain this once again. What is happening here? We have to see for the reduction in which M2 plus is becoming M. That means manganese 2 plus becoming M is more easy, or Cr2 plus becoming Cr is more easy. This is more easy because it would like to take its electron back in the s orbital. But in this case, it would prefer to become Cr3 plus. By losing one electron, so that it becomes D4 to D3 state, and D3 state is symmetrical and stable configuration because of the splitting of d orbital. Okay, the electrons, they arrange themselves in the T2G orbital symmetrically. Right. So this irregularity can be explained in this way. So in this way, we will be solving a few more questions, and I will take the opportunity of discussing the redox titration from this chapter, because the practical based on the redox titration is linked with D block elements. We use KMnO4, potassium permanganate, and we titrate it against oxalic acid, ferrous ammonium sulfate, all right, so that by oxidizing oxalic acid to CO2 and by oxidizing ferrous sulfate to ferric sulfate in more salt, we can find out the concentration of unknown concentration of a solution of KMnO4, or we can find out the purity of KMnO4, Or we can find out in a mixture of sodium oxalate and oxalic acid, how much of oxalic acid is there and how much of oxalate ion is there. All that, for all that, I will be preparing one lecture and I will be sending it to you. Okay. It will be very easy for you to understand them. So the practical chemistry based on redox titration is linked with this chapter. Thank you.